I'm Diane Gabrielle Tremblay. I'm professor with Université TELUC, which is part of Université du Québec. And I do a lot of research on work-life issues, work-life balance, telework, co-working, work organization. And in this context of pandemic, of COVID-19, we've had a lot of questions, of course, on telework in particular. A lot of people have started to work from home over the last few weeks. And this poses a certain number of challenges for a certain number of you. So actually in this presentation, I'm just going to give you a few tips on how to maybe adjust to telework in the present context. Usually telework is something which is very favorable. Most workers aspire to doing some telework, but the present context has a certain number of challenges. And I think it's important to take these into account. I think the first thing is maybe don't put your expectations too high. You'll probably be able to do a lot of the work as well as you would want to do, but you might have a little bit of challenges maybe with the technologies, accessing information which is in the server where you usually work, also having access to data, just using a series of technologies that you might not have used, or maybe you used one technology and your colleagues or other companies you're dealing with, or people in other countries or provinces are using other technologies. So you have to learn all these different technologies. It's sometimes little details, I press here, I do this, I do that, but that can be pretty stressful. So the first thing is adjust your expectations and make sure you don't increase the stress that you probably already have if you have children at home, or if you are just stressed because of the general situation. So first thing, adjust expectations. I was referring to kids, the presence of the family. Normally when we do telework, we have a closed space, or we're alone at home or something like that. Now the context for a lot of people is quite different. On the contrary, your partner might be there, some children might be there. So in that specific context, a few recommendations. Try to organize yourself to be able to have either a calm space or a closed room, a basement or something where you can isolate yourself. And if this is not possible, maybe the whole family gets together and discusses, what are the needs, who's doing a teleconference, at what time, what do the kids want to do, so that you really plan to have times where it's possible to make noise for the kids or for the dog even, because on a teleconference this week, we were hearing dogs barking in the, so yeah. So just make sure that everybody is kind of under control at certain times, and then they have other times where they can have fun and play and make noise. So that's one essential element. Try to synchronize, the times. At some times nobody makes noise, and at other times it's possible to make noise. Another element, so closed room or otherwise controlling the noise. Another thing that we tend to forget about is the ergonomics. Obviously in our offices, we often have people who are responsible for this, and he'll once in a while make us think of, how we should be sitting and how our feet should be and whatever. When you're at home, well, maybe you can look online. There's a lot of very, very short videos or things like that that will really explain. It's not very complicated, but maybe try to find a place where you can actually be pretty comfortable, even if you're using books or stuff like that, or you're using them for a different objective if you want. We don't have necessarily all the good equipment that we should have at home, but it's possible to manage something which will ensure that, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you don't have a backache, which you didn't have before. So I think that's pretty much the essential of telework. Obviously, for a lot of people, moving to telework is a stressful situation. Some people did it already 1 or 2, 3 days a week, but a lot of people did not do it ever. So for these people, try to take into account these elements, adjust expectations, make things clear with the employer. What can I do? What can I not do? What do I need to work from home? And also make expectations and arrangements quite clearly with the rest of the family, so that it's really possible to go on with the work without being too stressed.